And we're back. More like sweet Dillyn Leyds. What's up, bro? How you doing?
No, not too bad, bro. How you doing?
Good, good. Would that be like if you had to make a documentary about your life, would that be the song?
Yeah, I think so. I think there'd be a lot of people would be a little bit upset with me if it wasn't the
If
intro
that
song.
wasn't the song, for sure. It's
Yeah.
I don't know how going viral was back in the day, but 2010, when I think that's when those highlights came out. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
kind of went viral, hey?
yeah.
You
I
think?
think back then you could
Yeah,
say it went a little bit viral.
yeah,
But actually, now that we're talking about it, such a funny story. Last weekend, we played against Perpignan, and
yeah.
one of the academy boys, like what normally happens when we travel for away games, they take like four extra players, so like two extra backs and two extra forwards kind of thing. And one of the academy boys, he's like 20 years old, 21, and he was on the trip.
Yeah.
And of course, hardly speaks any English, but like we like arrived the Friday and the game was the Saturday. And in the Saturday morning at breakfast, he came to me and he was like, oh, look, like, and he
Yeah,
had somehow got into a rabbit hole on YouTube
yeah,
and found like my cool highlights.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like he was just laughing and like obviously like like you say, going viral now is a completely different thing to what it
Totally.
was back when that video came out. So, but it was just crazy that now that we're talking about the video and he brought it up just like a couple of days ago.
Because I obviously did a little bit of research. I mean, I probably was one of your biggest fans back at school through Craig Barry. Um, I think it was sitting on like 85,000 views now. And I was like, fuck, back then that was viral, man. That's viral.
Yeah, like it. Um, there's a guy or who I played with at school, James Carson. I don't know if you know the name. He's quite a good cricketer as well.
Okay.
But he offered like, especially on my birthday, like every year, he'll just send me like a message on Instagram, and he'll be like, "Yeah, your video's got a 400 views or something." Like, but just like, and then it'll just be like, "Happy birthday, YouTube sensation," like. But like literally sends me a message once a year on my birthday, and that's how
Yeah.
the message
And
goes. But
that's it. Yeah. That's sick.
yeah,
That,
it's crazy,
it's funny
crazy.
because like you obviously knew Craig Barry from back in the day, and I went to school with him. So
Yeah,
I didn't know you at all. But whenever the Bishops fixture came up, like we were playing against you guys, he would just talk you up all week. All week. It doesn't matter if if he wasn't playing against you, it'd be like, watch out for Dillyn Leyds. He's either playing fullback or fly off. Watch out. Bro, crazy step. You have to talk like that. He went, bro, crazy. I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I was just gonna say you're gonna have to speak like Craig, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like it's funny how because Craig, obviously, I also just met Craig when we were really young
Yeah.
through a friend of mine from Strand.
Mm.
And obviously, Craig came to Strand and found love there in Strand.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as
yeah.
as
Still
we know
together,
now,
married and everything. Well
still
done.
together,
Yeah.
married we'll be married 3 years this year.
Yep.
Um, and we just hit it off. Like we just became good mates since back there, way back then. And yeah, so it was always a bit personal when Paul Lewis played Bishops because I
Bishop.
always
Yeah.
wanted to beat Craig and he always
Yeah.
wanted to get at me. So it was good fun back then, man.
It was always a good fixture, man. I loved it.
Yeah,
Our matric here, we played at it's the Piley Reese, eh?
yeah,
Am
it's
I
a
saying
party.
that right?
Yeah,
And I played
yeah.
second grade, and I was so happy that our first team lost. That's so bad of me because I was playing
But
second.
we play. I think we played against each other the year before, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
2009.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I was played second in 2009, and we played at Makota.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure it's a long time ago. I'm pretty sure I stepped you. I think I'm holding on to that.
look,
If,
look,
if we
you
did
guys
that
were on fire.
game.
Yeah, you guys were on fire that day. So I
Yeah.
don't doubt it. I don't doubt it for 1 second.
But talk to me about Strand quickly, because in the past, like I think there's a space of like 6 or 7 years, there's been about six
Yeah.
or seven international rugby players come out of Strand. What is there something about it, or is it just lucky? Like it's Villy, yourself, Kitsy, Brahm was playing.
Gaza,
Bramstein who's
yeah,
playing for Italy.
for
Gaza,
Italy,
Damien Willemse.
Damien Willemse.
It's
Look,
just that
there's
rugby's massive
like
there. Hey, they love it. They love the rugby.
Uzair Kasim, who's playing in France for
Yep.
Bayonne now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like there's just a big love. Like honestly, that's like I sometimes when I was still back home, I would my dad's the chairman of one of the of Strand Rugby Club, one of the clubs there. So I would often, if I had a weekend off, make time and go back there and go watch some club rugby. And like you like my dad and Damien Willemse and Ramon Samuels, our dads played together for the club. So we sort of have a small like attachment to the club, and we go back there. And but whenever I go back there, I'm in I'm in awe of the talent that there is there. And like sometimes it's sort of like and actually it gets to me a little bit, because I'm like I take myself for an example. Like I could probably have been there, like just playing club rugby right now at what we 30 now, and just seeing it out there, if I didn't get the opportunity to go to Bishops, and it's crazy. Like there's just such a massive rugby community there. Like you go there on weekends when there's like a local derby and it's packed out. Like we like a lot of the communities don't like it, they live from paycheck to paycheck, and it's a struggle. But rugby is like the one thing where you just free. Like you got 80 minutes and you get some sort of celebrity status, if you can call it that. If you win on that weekend, you win that derby weekend, and people will do whatever to just get there to watch the game. And it's just like I like took it up with the people at Western Province to be like, you guys gotta like just come and watch like 1 or 2 weekends of rugby, because I'm pretty sure that there are dudes here who can do the same things I do, or the same things Damien Willemse does or Willie does, if not better. But they just no, like how far Strand is from city centre Cape
From
Town.
Newlands, yeah, fucking ages
So
away.
like exactly, who wants to come there on a Saturday afternoon. So it's just like I often think like, what if like a dude like Damien didn't get the opportunity to go to Paul Roos, or we weren't exposed to that sort of level where you have guys watching you week in, week out, who are scouting for unions and stuff like that, But it's like it's a sense of pride also for us to have like all these dudes come through from Strand now, and there's a whole lot more, like a lot of young guys, even Somerset West, Gabo, Saloris Pass, like those areas close in and around Strand, like a lot of guys coming through, which is really awesome.
Yeah. But I would always feel that, man, when you play, because Helderberg is kind of Helderberg Rugby Club, that's around as well. When we play,
exactly.
I played for Durbell, you go play there. And it is, man, it's fucking scary to play there. It's like a chicken hawk. Everyone is fucking right on the field. And there's 1,000
But
people there.
everyone's right there.
Yeah.
Everyone's
I always
right
felt
there.
bad for the hookers throwing in. Fuck that, man.
You just
And
get
the kickers,
abused,
I think I kicked once or
yeah.
twice there, but it's just put the ball on the tee and kick it. Fucking don't take your
You,
time. Don't take your time.
no, there's no going through the process in your mind. Like, need to get my strike right. No, it's put the ball down, kick.
Yo. But that brings back the question of, and what they do it, it's like they do it in New Zealand, where they let the players come back and then play for their local club. I think, man, they should do that in Cape Town or in South Africa.
100%. Like, I have this like running joke here, like at the team or at the club here, where like every day when I'm like, I run onto the training field and it's like, it's push cold there. It's like 0 degrees or -2, and it's like there's like it's not raining, but it's cold, and there's like a little wind, so it's like it hits you,
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I've got this running joke where I run onto the field every day and I just shout 10 more years, 10 more years. Like, and like, and everyone's just like, shut up. But like,
No.
honestly, I say to my brother all the time, I'm like, I hope like I'm in a position one day where I can be like, you know what, like I've done enough now. Like I'm happy with what I've given to rugby and what the game's given me. I'm gonna retire, and then just like go back and play club rugby in Strand just for like half a year. Just like
Yeah,
go
yeah.
help out, go try and coach a little, go play club rugby there, and like I think it's cool like how like when like you said some of those All Blacks when they come back from an injury they go play a game of club rugby.
Yeah.
It's cool, but like I think in South Africa it will be completely different. Like
It'll take the guy's
you
head off.
know,
Like, it'll be,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Like this is gonna be like. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like Sia Kolisi going to play for UCT versus like Collegians on a Saturday, or
Uh,
like
verse like False
Tiger
Bay
versus
on a Wednesday
versus
night.
like False Bay
Ugh.
on a Wednesday night at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
imagine? Poor Sia, every
yeah,
carry is just getting shot.
man.
Like he's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like
But
I think that's the
I'm
only
sure it'll
thing
be the
why they
same.
wouldn't do it.
I'm sure it's the same like that in New Zealand. I saw a clip of Dan Carter played like third level, and he kicked the
Yeah.
ball. I think the ball landed, and this flanker came and fucking smoked it. So I'm like, I think it's the same there. Yeah, but it's just
So
good.
that's
It's good
that's
for the
exactly
community. It's good for the
yeah,
players that are playing there that might never get to play with someone of that caliber, and then they get to play with him. So,
100%.
but I think there's too many levels at rugby in South Africa where like there's Vodacom
Yeah,
Cup,
there's
there's
just
Varsity Cup, so it's like there's too
you
many
just
levels.
you can yeah
Like,
you can literally just go like oh I'll play Curry Cup and then
yeah,
play a couple of games Curry Cup, then get some
yeah,
what do they URC games in, and then
yeah,
I'll go play for the Box. So I don't think it will ever sort of get to that level, but it would be awesome.
yeah.
Like
Bro, I want to
yeah
go back to you spoke about getting the opportunity at Bishops. I felt like the type of player you are and Bishops was like the perfect mix. Is it like that, or
yeah
does Bishops kind of mold you into that style of play? The free flow.
um yeah I think it honestly helped obviously like for me that I was at Bishops and in an environment where throwing the ball around is sort of the 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 identity, the culture. Um, it was always my way of playing rugby. I always looked up to guys who play the game that way. Like I always just like I'd rather just take a risk and make it not come off than sit on a Monday in a review and be like, I should have,
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. And I think being at Bishops, like we just like we play touch for like half an hour every day at training, and like after that we'll do a couple of moves, but like it was more about actually getting everyone's skills on a level to be able to just chuck the ball around, but at the same time have sort of that awareness around you to like be able to identify space and take opportunities when they present themselves. And like our coaches were never, oh, when you in this zone, like pick the ball, or when you're in this zone, don't play off 10, play off 9 kind of thing. It was just do what you feel like. We'll give you a guideline, but like if you see something different, do it. Like no one's gonna come down at you and be like, oh, you should have done X, Y, and Z. And I think like I watched like a bit of school rugby every now and then, and like like when I watch the school rugby now compared to when like we were playing, it's almost like a different sport.
Yeah. Yep.
And
You
it's
can't.
like I
Yeah.
I really don't enjoy watching it. Like it's always just about winning.
Yeah. Yep.
And like you never really play rugby then because you're so worried about the outcome. Like when you see it 3v2, you thinking to yourself, shit, if I try and chuck a miss pass here and I don't execute, we knock the ball on, the coach is gonna give me shit, so you don't do it. And like, you can't play rugby like that as a 17, 18-year-old. Like, like I remember we used to draw up plays in like maths class. You know what I mean? Like, we'd sit there and come up with the most elaborate plays ever, and then like take it to our coach in the afternoon and be like, sweet, let's try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So yeah, back like I think it suit going to Bishops and being the type of rugby player that I am today. It was just like, you know, just fitted me like a glove, basically.
Then you look at all the other players that have come through Bishops through around your time, like the Sam Lanes and Nizam Carr.
Yeah.
Who's the prop that played with you?
Oli Cable.
No, I think he was a.
Seppo Motale, the black guy.
Yes.
Seppo Motale. Oh, yeah.
That's a prop running like a back.
Yeah.
And doing the offloads and throwing skip passes and stuff like that. So that obviously that the coaches that you had, like you were saying as well, it is so important to have those types of coaches where they're like, we'll give you a guideline, but you go do what you want to do. Because you said, if you make a decision and it doesn't come off, you don't want to be dropped the next day or be told in a review session that you should have kicked it or you should have taken the tackle, you know what I mean? So that freedom is it definitely helped players just express themselves.
It's important, exactly, because it's like I feel it's important when you're at that age because you can afford to like stuff up and lose a game. You know what I mean? But I think where it's at the moment in terms of schoolboys, and it's like back to another point that I hate, but it's not so off topic. But it just comes down to like social media as well. I feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some dude is 18 years old and he's like a superstar at school and he's cool and he's got 30,000 followers, whatever. So like you have this like, I don't know, you feel like some type of way.
Aura around you. It's totally different. It's totally different. And then the whole,
it's so different.
They have like, it's a whole thing now where coaches are they're getting paid lots of money. So you have to win.
Don't even get
you have to win. And you're doing everything to win. And like you said, your biggest goal is winning. And when you think about when we were back then played, it was still a massive thing and you obviously wanted to win. But that's the best rugby, the funnest rugby you ever get to play is schoolboy rugby. And if it's so fixated on just winning and not doing things you enjoy, not like coming up with ideas and the coach being like, no, fuck that, we're not going to do that. We're doing our game. Like you lose the essence of fucking schoolboy rugby.
Exactly. Like, because those kids never really get to, I suppose they like, it's cool. Like, you know, playing first team rugby at school and especially in Cape Town it's a hell of a big deal. And like, I suppose they do enjoy it, but like you said, that's the best time. Like now, like I look back and I'm like, shit, there's so many like things that I remember from playing at Bishops and having the opportunity to play first team for your school. And there's just so many good memories. Like, it's funny that like, cause you know how at Bishops we like run out underneath the poles and like touch the grass kind of thing, because it's like the Piley is this magical field, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that for me, like I still do that now, like when I run onto the field, because it's just like, for me, it's just a sign of like, don't ever forget to just enjoy it, you know? Like I'm grateful and lucky enough to have played rugby in some of the biggest stages of the world and the most amazing stadiums. But at the end of the day, like my biggest thing is just enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna come to an end eventually. So you might as well just make the most of it while you have this opportunity. Like, when you're in this setup as a professional, unfortunately everything is about results. But there's also like a way, there's also a process and everything to go through to get to the result. And for me, like one of my big things is like enjoying it. Because if I don't enjoy my rugby, I don't think I'll play my best rugby. So it's just like a little simple thing,
Yeah, for sure. Firstly, before I go on to the next question, thank you for not coming to Paul Ruiz. I don't think I would have played first team then. So because it looks like all the gun players from Strand just went to Paul Ruiz and you went to Bishop.
Me
So thank
neither.
you
But
for that.
I
Thank
wouldn't
you
have
for
played
that.
either. Errol Jaggers had the spot locked up, so I wouldn't have played either.
What do you mean? What do you mean, boy? What do you mean?
So you would have run the cutter at 10, and I would have been at the back for
Yeah,
the
Craig
team. So it would have
Barry.
been all
Barry
good
can
anyway.
play. Barry can play second.
Put Barry on the wing. He loves it
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Um, so you're talking about enjoying it. And it like I've written down here like differentiating it because you're a professional athlete. Like your work is something you've loved growing up playing
Yeah,
rugby. But some days you wake up and fuck, I don't want to go to work. How like
yeah.
have you had those days and how have you kind of
Oh,
sorted those days out?
heaps of those days. Like,
Yeah.
um, and especially a lot more sort of since coming here because it's just like it's great. Like I'm not complaining one bit about life in France, but things are just a little bit more tougher, you know. Like I suppose you know what it's like when you leave South Africa or your home, everything you've known for so long. Like there's not just like there's just certain things that you're like, oh, I can't. Like you don't feel too comfortable just sharing things with people you've sort of just met, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, there's like really been days where I'm like, shit, I'm not good. Like I don't like the
Yeah.
alarm goes off and you're like another day kind of thing. But then honestly, like driving to training, you're like sulking. You're like, shit, man, why am I doing this kind of? And then literally you get there, go to breakfast, see the boys, talk a bit of shit, have a laugh, and then you're just like, man, like this is why I'm doing this kind of thing, you know? It's like a lot of times the off-field stuff sort of gets you through whatever bad's happening on the field, you know? Like last year, sort of just before we headed into like the end of the season thing, I went through like I got dropped out of the team for like 5 weeks. The coach was just like, listen, you're shit. you're you're out of form. Like, I don't know what the hell's happening with you. Just go sit in the stand. And like I was like, whoa, this has never happened to me before in my career. And I'm like finding myself in this position where all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, but stuff this coach, whatever. And I was like that for a couple of days. But then I was actually like afterwards, no, like still got to enjoy it, whether I'm involved or not. And it's like trainings were a lot harder because I'm not running with a starting team anymore. So I'm almost got to train twice as hard to get the coach's attention. But then you come off the field and then the boys are all there. We're having a laugh, you know, talking about stuff that happened during training. This dude falling off tackles or this guy throwing a shit pass, you know, and you just have a laugh and then you're like, nah, look, this is what it's all about actually, you know, whether I'm going good or bad on the field, you know, my mates and my teammates will always be here to get me through it. And like there's honestly, especially during the winter, there's days where I'm just like,
Tough, eh?
what have you done here? But
Fuck.
then you just like you get there and it's sometimes just mentally so draining because like you wake up, leave when it's dark, come home, have like half an hour of a little bit of sun, and then it's dark again, you know. And then you're just like, what the hell am I doing? But honestly, bro, there's just the off-field moments are just so good. Like it gets you through so many of those dark times where you're like, shit, I really am in a bit of a slump, not enjoying it. But then once you get amongst the boys and a couple of beers flowing and
Yeah.
this guy's talking shit like this and having a laugh, you know, then everything gets a little bit lighter and you just sort of find your way back to it. I feel that's what happened to me.
Yeah. That camaraderie between the players off the field is so important, eh?
Oh, 100%, yeah. But it's like, it's all good and well. Like, yeah, you're gonna obviously have great memories of matches and certain things that happen, like milestone moments, winning a trophy or a great performance. But at the end of the day, it's like more about the bus trips and the locker
Yep.
room chats and
Yep.
stuff like that. When there's like out with the boys after a game or stuff like that. Those are the things that you sort of hold on to and that you really treasure once the day arrives where you hang up the boots. Yeah.
Yep. 100%. I want to bring it a little bit back a bit. So we obviously played against each other our first year out of school, bit of under 19s rugby. I think it's the most.
Start.
Hey, that's one of my best wins on Newlands, boy. One of my
Oh
best wins.
man.
And I think that was probably one of the best, like most enjoyable years, like in 19 years old, traveling the country, playing rugby, following the main Currie Cup team. This is just from me looking out from the outside in. I don't think you had your best year compared to year before, but then you went into Varsity Cup and things just changed for you. That year for you in Varsity Cup was crazy.
Yeah.
Talk me through that.
Yeah. So yeah, basically that under 19 year after school. Honestly, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was supposed to go on a gap year to the UK and like
Okay.
stooge at a school with a mate of mine. His dad sort of knew someone who could help us out, and that was the plan. And then his dad's mate ended up becoming the headmaster at a different school and couldn't do it for us anymore. Long story short, it got to like October and I had nothing to do the next year, and then ended up going to Province Institute and played a bit of under 19s. But they had signed this guy from the Sharks who played Craven Week, and he was supposed to be the number one flyer. I just sort of got there and got a couple of games. He got injured and ended up starting, but yeah, nothing really went well for me that year. Also, I was in Stellenbosch, and Stellenbosch.
You
Yeah,
can
it was
get
both.
lost. You can get lost there,
Yeah,
man. You can get
yeah.
lost there.
No, I was, and also I had Craig was at the sevens at the time, and he was rolling around there, the man. So I was just, I was just a trailer behind
Yeah,
Craig
yeah.
Barry in Stellenbosch. So it was a good time, and like I was 19, didn't really think I was going to play professional rugby, and then Kevin Foote, who was my coach at Bishops,
Okay.
was the head coach at UCT for Varsity Cup, and he just came to me and he said, "Dole, listen, UCT are gonna whatever give you a scholarship bursary, whatever for studies and whatever, but I want you to play Varsity Cup for me. We've got a 10, whatever. I know you've never played fullback, but I want you to play fullback, and all I want you to do is just get your hands on the ball. That's all I want you to do for me." And like,
Is that sparks
I was
flying
like,
in your head? Like, fuck
yeah,
yeah.
I was like, okay, so basically this guy's telling me basically just do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
And that varsity cup preseason, honestly, I was like, I'm gonna give this a proper go. Whatever happens, happens. At least I know I gave it a go. And that season, like honestly, yeah, just man, everything just fell in place for me. Like from literally the first game. I think we actually played Shimless the first game. From there on, just everything just like sort of became a snowball effect. Couple of months into the varsity cup season, Paul True came to me and he's like, "Oh, we want you to come play or come train with a blitz booker." And I was like, "No, thank you, sir, not for me."
Too much fitness,
like,
boy.
like I can't do three bleep tests in one day, sir. That's not for me. Yeah, and then got a text from footy being like, Darby Tron, the SA under 20 coach, just called me and like they're keeping an eye out for you. So, you know, like you sort of in the mix for the SA under 20s, you're on the radar. And then I was like, wow, this is, something's really happening here. yeah, and then later that year, found myself playing SA under-20 in the starting team, like Andre Pollard, Peter Steph de Toy, Jan Serfontein, Paul Willemse, like dudes who were all basically playing Super Rugby, and I'm
Mm.
playing Varsity Cup, you know?
Don't forget
Um,
your mate that you're playing with now. Shout out Raymond.
oh,
Raymond Rule. He was playing. He
shout,
was playing.
shout out Ray May. Yeah, Ray was the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then played SA under-20, won it, and then Western Province came along and were like, look, we want to give you a deal, 2-year deal. And I was like, sweet, roll on. Like
Let's go.
happy. And yeah, and then that's how played under-21. Awesome because we ended up winning the under-21 season as well. Like got to play every weekend basically with Craig. Like you said, we traveled the country following the main Currie Cup side. So it was unreal. Like as a 21-year-old, being from like, oh, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, being given a lifeline by UCT, and then just everything just sort of happened from there on in.
Do you look back on yourself at that time where you said, I'm going to give this a good crack? Whatever happens, happens. And you're like, well done. You give yourself a pat on the back. Like, fuck it. That
Yeah,
work changed everything.
yeah, 100%. Because at the time, like I'd obviously gone from being at school in the southern suburbs, then institute in Stellenbosch, where I was like just big-eyed as to what the hell is happening around me at the moment, and then back to Cape Town to UCT and living with just like 6, 7 other dudes training like in the rugby house, and that was madness as well. And like I could have easily also just been like, you know what, no, let the good times roll, let the party continue.
Yeah.
But I sort of felt like, footy sort of stuck his neck out for me. Like I wanna show him that they made the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as the year went on, like the rugby just became a hell of a lot, and studies became a hell of a lot less. Attendance in classes became a hell of a lot less. So that didn't work out. But I
Yeah.
was lucky that because I'd like been going so well with the university in terms of the rugby club, they kept me on for another season. So I think it was 2013. I was then training with the Vodacom Cup back
Yeah.
then, which was like just below the Currie Cup. And I got a couple of games in 2013 for the Vodacom Cup, but like whenever I wasn't playing Vodacom Cup, I would be playing for UCT.
Yeah.
So, and that's like what we spoke about earlier, just with like so many different levels.
Yeah.
So I got a taste of some club rugby as well, which I really enjoyed, like
Yeah.
21 years old and tackling grown men,
Yeah.
a father of 3, and just
Yeah.
riding down at you. Had a tough week at work, and he's just coming to smoke the hell out of this skinny colored boy from Strand. I'm just trying my best to put on some footwork and evade. Oh, no, I got a few. I'm not gonna lie, I got a few hits there, and like you're on the ground, you're just like, nah, just don't get up. Like literally, just don't get up. Just don't get up. Whatever
Especially
you do, don't get up.
the Wednesday night games that
Oh,
only kick off at fucking 9 o'clock.
it's
Oh,
9 o'clock. I don't know why they do that, honestly. Like,
oh,
I
that's
get it. I get it. Like, obviously, people are working and stuff, but surely not a Wednesday night. Hey, like,
no. I remember playing a
oh, man.
Wednesday night on the Green Mile.
Oh,
Brutal.
there's nothing worse. Was it
Oh,
raining?
man. Yeah, it was a little, just know the
Oh,
little raindrops, a little bit of a wind. So when you kick the ball, it just comes back and you pass, it goes fucking that way. I'm not
don't
making
kick
a
the ball
tackle. I'm not tackling anyone. Fuck that.
uh,
That's the
into the
worst.
wind. You just gotta, when you're into the wind on the Green
No,
Mile at UCT, you just gotta tuck the ball and be strong.
just
That's it. There's
head
no
down.
kicking.
No, fuck. And then you still have to drive. I still have to drive an hour to get home because it's ages away. Like
Ah,
that. That
nah,
wasn't
those
good.
Wednesday night 9 o'clock, those are tough. Those are really
Um,
tough.
But that's like, so that UCT season, that first one was kind of a breakout season for you, I feel like. But that team was stacked, eh?
Oh man, the funny thing is like our team was so stacked. Like Wes Chetty, we had Neil Rothenbach. Um, like
France,
to
Sluck.
to to be
Yeah.
to be fair, Slak van Beek, Ricky Schroeder, Tiger Backs, Damien de Lende was on the wing. We had
Eben?
Adrian Kritzinger. Eben and Sia were there, but to be fair, they like were with the Super Rugby most of the time. Um, we we had like we had Nick Holton, who was unreal. You great
Okay.
PE boy. He's
Silky,
actually
yeah.
he's in Sydney as well. I think he's living over
Okay.
there.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, our team was stacked, bro. But man, we only won like 2 games. we were
Oh,
we were the kings of post match activities, but
yeah.
couldn't get it going on the field though. Oh,
Couldn't get a win.
couldn't get a win, but like no, we were unreal. Like I said, Ibn and Sia.
A bit of technical difficulties. This is when I get to shout out anyone who wants to sponsor the podcast so that I can pay for my Zoom,
Get on.
so I can my Zoom account, so it stops kicking me off. So yeah, going back. So yeah, that Ikeys team loaded, stacked, one of the
One of the
team, but just couldn't get results.
just couldn't get results. We were struggling. We were great off the field,
Yeah.
loved it, but yeah, just couldn't get results. But yeah, it was sort of still a time where it was like awesome for me in the sense to be playing with guys who had obviously like Adrian Tritzinger, Timmy Whitehead, Tiger Backs. Those guys had played like in a professional setup for a while, you know. And so it was awesome for me to be involved there. Yeah, and it's just like I sort of carried the Ikeys tradition, which was pretty much the same as Bishops, to be fair, just to have a full out crack and throw the ball around.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy that part of rugby, so it was a great fit for me once again.
And massive shout out to Varsity Cup. I think that was that the first year of Varsity Cup?
I think it was the like second or third, I think. Yeah, but
That
Varsity
revived how
Cup,
many?
man.
You think of careers.
Oh,
I mean, talk about Craig Barry. That revived so many people's careers.
100%.
Yeah.
The king of Stellenbosch when he was just killing it at Marty's, and then got to Stormers and killed it there. Went on to Cheetahs, obviously, and yeah, just so many other guys that you can literally just drop names of guys who had been in a professional setup at 21, 22, and then never got opportunities. Went to Varsity Cup and then killed it and got another opportunity at a different club. So yeah, Varsity Cup's obviously been a real sort of stepping stone for a lot of guys who've gone on to play international rugby. You know, we've gone international with Hugh Jones as well, who played for UCT and did some awesome things for Scotland and Glasgow as well. So yeah, it was really a competition that revived a lot of careers.
How was that the under-20s set up with the Bokke? I think that was the last time South Africa won the comp.
Yeah, with the
that team was fucking stacked on its own as well. Eh?
Yeah, crazy to think that it was the last time that they'd won
at Newlands. Fuck, doesn't get better
at
than
Newlands.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like for the local boys from Cape Town, you know, it was awesome for us. Like I still have this funny video of my dad, like after the final whistle, just like arms stretched out, just like so happy. We like beat the junior All Blacks that day, and yeah, funny enough, like how the rugby world takes you on journeys, because I ended up coming to La Rochelle, and Ihaya West was was our 10 at La Rochelle, and that day he was the 10 for the junior All Blacks. So
love that.
Myself and Raymond got into him quite a bit about that day. But it's just like that was also like obviously my first taste of what a real professional and sort of international setup is like. And you know, it was, you really at that young age just get treated like absolute pros and stars of the game. Like the whole video analysis, like I wasn't really bothered with the diet stuff, to be fair. Like never been an issue for me, but like just the whole way of how you train and look after your body and that sort of thing. But it was good to be involved at such a young age, just to get into it and see what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to ask, because you're not, when you look at a rugby player, you're not the biggest guy on the field. You've
No,
fast, your
never.
skills, your agility, that all helps you a lot, obviously. Were you ever kind of pressured into putting on weight or anything like that? Or was it
Oh,
always
big
your
time.
skills and that?
I think it was my first sort of 2 seasons of Super Rugby. That was a big thing, where coaches and strength and conditioning staff really tried to get me into like a good shape.
Yeah.
But like, I remember in 2016 I did my ACL, and like everyone, or like the strength and conditioning staff saw it as an opportunity for me to pick up some size.
Yeah.
And I was like literally sleeping in the gym, like just trying to like rehabbing the knee, and then obviously trying to put on some size on the upper body. And I started the 2017 Super Rugby season and I weighed 88.
Yeah.
And like, if you like 88, sort of any back not playing nowadays is weighing 88, and they like running the 100 meters 10.5, like, you know, just mad skills kind of thing. And 88, I was sort of feeling like, oh, the big part of my game, which is my strength and my agility, or my speed and my agility, like I sort of lost a bit of that, and I just couldn't couldn't carry the weight, but I just felt a bit uncomfortable, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like even now, like just I'm 86 at the moment, and like going from 86 to 88 doesn't sound a hell of a lot, but for me, like I can feel it straight
Yeah.
away, you know.
Yeah.
So throughout the early stages of my career, it was really a big emphasis. Like even and when I was at the Springboks, like it was a big thing. Like get bigger as a winger. Like, you know, we in South Africa, we're lucky. We've got a lot of big boys running around, and even the wingers. Like you think of JP Peterson and like
Yep.
Habana and stuff like that. They were pretty
Huge.
big boys, and you know, rapid as well. So I think growing up, you sort of, that's what a lot of people try to emulate. Like our wingers need to be a bit bigger and stuff like that. And obviously guys like Gio Aplon and Chesy and now Kirtley has changed the perception about, you know, what South African wingers should look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, just for me it was always a big thing, like try and get bigger and stuff like that. But now, like I'm 30 years old, like I don't expect myself to be 90 kgs busting through tackles kind of thing, you know. I've got other things that work for me, and I stick to that, you know. Like even in the gym now, like I've never been a fan of the gym, to be completely honest with you. Like when I look at the programs and I see gym 3 times a week, I'm just like, okay, how am I gonna get around this for the next hour, you know? So
I see.
I know, yeah.
I feel like you're the guy in the gym that just stands with those stretching bands and just talks shit to
Oh,
everyone.
100%. If I'm not the DJ, I'm either pulling on some band,
Yeah.
rehabbing a shoulder that's
Yeah.
never been hurt, kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so that's just like I'm at a point now where I know what works for me and
Yeah.
what I need to do to get me ready for a game. Like I'm not going to be deadlifting 200 and squatting 160. Like there's just no point. Like these skinny pins just need to run. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to be busting through tackles. That's not my job. Like I'm not a 12 who needs to get gain line. So I just focus on a lot of other things.
Do you think that would be your advice for younger guys that are kind of in the same body mold as you, and like the Cheslin and Kirtley Oren is like rather focus on things that you're really good at than trying to put on
Yeah,
weight, try and fix a mold that's not you?
exactly. I think like there's this whole perception about size when it comes to South African rugby players. Like you come play rugby abroad and everyone's like, oh, the South Africans are big, like massive, you know. And for me, I run into the field every weekend knowing whoever I'm playing against, my opposite wing is going to be bigger than me no matter what. Like unless I'm playing against Chesy, you know, like
But then you got to worry about other things.
Then you got to worry about being stepped in the space
Yeah.
of 20 centimeters,
Yeah.
you know. But every other weekend, it's about trying to stop some big Fijian who's 100 kgs and who's going to run over you, around you, through you, whatever the case, you know. So I just like focus on what I need to do to get myself ready, to get myself going. And I think there's a lot of other players in the game now who's probably in the same position where they're not the biggest, but man, when they get the ball, like they putting fear into those big guys, you know.
Yep.
Like that Italian fullback,
Yes.
Capuzzo
Yes.
or whatever, like
Love him. Yep. Yep.
like such a good player. Like watch him play for Toulouse, and you think like, dude, this guy, like sort of when he gets the ball, I think people do the same thing with me. You just like close your eyes and be like, shit, I hope this guy doesn't come out of this tackle like being smashed and torn apart. But you know, he's got great feet, and I think that's just what other players do, like each to their own. Like Will Skelton isn't going to try and throw a 20-meter cutout pass when there's a back in front of him. You know, he's gonna go over you.
Yep.
So that's what makes him good. And I think when it comes to myself or other smaller players, you just got to stick to your strengths, man. Like you know, like your body isn't meant to like get the team gain line and stuff like that. But when you get the ball and you've got a bit of space, like your things are your speed and your agility and your finishing ability. So if that's your job, like focus on that, do that to the best of your ability instead of worrying about trying to look like Nanila Mapi or Semi Radada kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I love that that's come back in, and the smaller guys are using their ability to put fear, like you said, into defenders. Because it's a lost art, man. That's the stepping,
It is.
ball in two hands instead of just running over someone. Fuck, run around them.
Exactly.
I love that. Go back
like
to yep. Say.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like when we like preview like when we play against Chesney and that, like you literally sit there, you're like, how are we gonna stop this dude? Forget about the other 14 dudes, you know, how are we gonna you know, so like you say, it's a bit of a lost art, and I think it's slowly but surely finding its way back into the game.
100%. He's even brought in a sneaky fucking bump now as well.
Yeah, like
and then he's gonna run over you.
Always been like, just like his upper body, he's so solid. So like now you're sort of worried about shit. Is he gonna go around me or just like try and bump me off here?
But I want to go back to your Stormers. So obviously you jumped in and you made your debut for the Stormers. How was that jump up to Super Rugby? Do you remember much of that?
Yeah, it was. So I spoke about it earlier. I had the opportunity to go to the Force when I was pretty young, and was in the Super Rugby squad there, in the wider training squad, and obviously I was 21, 22 at that time, and I was pretty lucky to be in that setup because, again, I got the exposure of what it's like to be a pro pretty early, and then went back to the Stormers and literally got the opportunity to make my debut the following season in 2015. And your debut sort of flies by, to be honest, because you just like, shit, I'm here. Like I'm so happy to have made it, but then now you've got to sort of stay in the mix. And like at the time at the Stormers, we had like massive names, like Dwayne was still around, Skulk, Urban, Sia was there, like Dimitri Katrakilis, Krumi, Damien Dillyn, Juan de Jong, you know, like Chesy was there. So you're playing with these guys and you've just quickly you're like a sponge. You just take in everything, you know, soak it all up and just literally just go back to basics and do like, okay, I need to find my feet here. And then season 1 goes by, season 2, I had a big injury, did my ACL. And then 17 was sort of really my big year in Super Rugby, where after the injury, I was just like, you know what, this is pretty scary. Like this can end at any moment. And that's when I really got back into my groove of being like, I just want to enjoy it, you know. And I played with a lot of freedom. Got the right coaches to back me and be like, you know what, we're gonna give you the role of just doing your own thing, you know. If you see space, attack it. If you want to kick. If you want to run. Just do what puts you in a good position to help the team. And quickly found myself in a position where I'm now 26, 27, and was getting to help a lot of the younger guys coming through.
Yep.
And you realize that, like, it's literally just like a conveyor belt there, like, especially in South Africa, one guy goes down and there's just another guy ready to go. And you just gotta be at the same time trying to help them, but be as professional as you possibly can, and continue to learn and continue to try and teach the boys the things you've learned.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I was sort of just getting into the setup, I was lucky that there were guys who had played a lot of caps, either for the Stormers or internationally even. So you could really just sit back and just take it all in and listen to what they had to say, and try and implement that into your own game. Whether you're taking advice from a forward or a back, you know, it didn't really matter to me. I was just trying to soak it all up and literally try and implement these things on a Saturday.
Yeah. It's was that then when Davy Snyman coach? At the
Davy
time?
Snyman, yeah. He was
Still one of my
under
favorite
20.
coaches.
Oh,
Yeah.
hands down. Like, honestly, if anyone would like come to me and say like, who's the one guy who really helped my game a lot, it would be hands down Davy Snyman. He's a phenomenal coach. Like,
Just
honestly, I
like
think
it's someone who
his
fucking just
energy,
loves it. Just loves it. Yeah.
he's just there like for the right reasons, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
He loves seeing players just being themselves and expressing themselves. You know, that's what he's about. Like, Dalby would like come up on a Monday and like, okay, we're gonna do the stepping drill, and you're like, you know, like, let's go. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what
I love that.
we're all about when you're younger. You know, you
Yeah.
just want to have a one-on-one and whack someone, and then we'll have a laugh about it. And he's just the one guy who's got such a phenomenal rugby brain on him, but also never wants to be the man when it comes to, Darby did that play, or, you know, Darby Snyman this, Darby Snyman that. And he just wants you as an individual to go out, like, play your best, express yourself, and win or lose, like, he'll always find a way to be positive about certain things that happened on the weekend. Yeah, he's awesome, right? He's honestly one of the best coaches I've worked with.
Absolutely. Same, my side. Talk about expressing yourselves. I have to talk about probably one of the most, let's say, amazing moments of Super Rugby in its whole the whole livelihood of Super Rugby. When it started at Super 12, they're always the highlights of every year come on. And your flick pass has to be what I think it's in, like I've just said, in the whole of Super Rugby as a whole, that would fall part of one of the highlights package. You fall, I think it was versus Chiefs. You've gone through and talk me through that flick pass. Is that just something that, and I know like touchies, we play touchies all the time and you do all crazy things. Is that just something that just out of nowhere, you're just like, oh, fuck it, there's a player there, I'm just going to throw it?
Yeah, that's it. That was 100% it. Like, I just clearly remember like getting ankle tapped as I caught the ball, and like I caught it in my right hand, but my support player was on my left, and I had my back to him. So it was just like, you know, comes down to just, like you said, playing touches, and trying random things, like just weird offloads, passes around the back, not even looking, kind of thing. And in that moment, I was just like, well, if I'm ever gonna try something extravagant or ridiculous, it's gonna be in this moment. And you know, I always say I'm very lucky it didn't end up in row E of the grandstand in Newlands, and like it went straight into SP Murray's breadbasket, and he ended up scoring a try. But yeah, it's just like a moment of craziness, trying something, and it came off. And like, I think the way we were playing that season as a Stormers group, that's what we were about. Like, you know, just keeping the ball moving and giving the ball air. And you know, I was lucky that I had that opportunity to try that pass. But yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy moment. Like, literally just backing myself in that moment to try and execute this pass and that skill. And like, I'm extremely happy that it worked.
Yeah.
I sort of cringe every time I see the clip pop up on social media, because I'm like, that could have easily just gone south, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I could have thrown this 20 meters behind him and got into touch or something. But yeah, it's just crazy, honestly.
Yeah. I think everyone watching that was almost, they had their fucking hearts in their mouths because SPA almost got caught. Did he?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we grew up together in the same area, Durbanville. So
Yeah.
we went to the same schools, and he went to Boys Eye, and obviously went to Paul Ruiz. But that was funny. I was like, everything's played out. I'm like, holy shit, fuck, run.
Exactly. Like, like when I watched the clip, I'm like, I wonder if he was like, oh shit, did that actually happen, kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know? And almost forgot, like, he's got to go and score the try. But yeah, no, I'm just lucky. I'm just lucky it came off.
Yeah.
We often, like, whenever like I said, the clip pops up on social media, I often just have a laugh with him, send him the clip, and I'm like, so thank you for actually scoring. Because if it wasn't for you, like, that pass could have been a hell of a lot different, or the clip could have been a hell of a lot different, you know.
100%. So obviously was that 2017? You said that was kind of your
Yeah.
idea with Stormers. Is that when the call up happened for Springboks? How did
Yeah,
that
that's
come
when.
about? Did you know about it before it was getting put out to the world, or?
No, so I got invited to a camp, but it was like, honestly, like 12, 13 Stormers players. So I didn't think too much of it, to be fair. And like, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, get the opportunity to be in a national camp for the first time. And the camp was in Joburg, and we had like 3, 4 days there, and flew back to Cape Town. But when I got to Cape Town airport, I think it was, by that time they'd announced the Springbok squad, but we were obviously on the flight and phones were off and stuff. And my phone was just, when I turned my phone back on, it was just pinging like crazy. And I had no idea. And then I just saw, like, at the airport there was like these, and I think it was in the Wimpy, there was a TV, and they like just said like, oh, a number of new caps in the Springbok squad. And I saw my name, and I was like, oh wow. Got on the phone and called my parents, and yeah, it was like a really special moment. Just didn't expect to play, but just to be in the squad, you know, getting to be in the national squad for the first time was awesome. And then obviously played France in that June series of 2017, and got a few caps there. And yeah, so it was like, just became like a whirlwind kind of month in June. Played the 3 tests against France, and from there went to the Rugby Championship. Played a couple of games against the All Blacks and Aussies. Um, yeah, so 2017 was really, up until now, probably one of my best years of rugby for me.
Yeah. Talk me, and I know you said your debut it's kind of a blur. Do you remember much from your Springbok debut?
Oh, it was so funny because they named the squad and I was on the bench, and so nervous, like Thursday and Friday. And I had my parents there, had my missus there come up for the game, and it was obviously a big deal, you know. But I was like thinking to myself, oh, just let me get onto the field. If I get a couple of minutes, all good, happy, you know. And I was on the bench, and I was sitting next to Franz Steyn, and obviously one of the legends of Springbok rugby and world rugby. And he was just so chilled, like he was chatting to the French boys, like chirping them, like laughing and joking. And I'm sitting there, literally got no more nails left, just so nervous. Like, second half came, and it was like 50 minutes, 60 minutes went by, and I start looking at the manager, like, shit, I I hope he calls my name, but I also like I'm so nervous. I hope he doesn't. Like I don't even want to go on. I'm so nervous. And then like got the call, like take off the tracksuit. You're going on, and I just like remember just like so many flashbacks going through my mind, just like taking off my tracksuit, and that whole moment felt so slowed down. Like thinking back to me as a lighty, like just running around, throwing the ball around with my brother or my dad or whatever. And now I'm getting to do it for my country. So when I ran onto the field, I was just like, this is cool. Like, I'm a Springbok, or like I've got a Springbok cap. And I was actually late to sort of set for the play that was called, because I was just trying to like take everything in.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I got a couple of minutes in that test at Loftus. And then the following weekend we played in Durban, and I got on for the last 30 seconds, and I was like, oh, that's a bit of that's a bit of a anticlimax after last weekend. But yeah, then the next weekend, the last test was in Joburg, got 20 odd minutes, but it was just so cool. Like even that 30 seconds being on the field, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is awesome. I'm yet again doing what I love, and getting to represent my country at the same time. So for me, it was just special. It is a moment, obviously, that I'll remember forever. But at the same time, just so enjoyable to get to that point where you're like, I've put a lot of hard work in, and I'm finally getting to reap the rewards of being an international rugby player. Yeah.
100%. Talk me through facing the haka. How's that?
So cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, like is at Newlands as well, and
Yep.
sold at Newlands.
Fuck yeah.
And you just like, I was just standing there, didn't really know how to go about it.
Yep.
I tried to like not make eye contact, but at the same time I wanted to be like, show like I'm up for this, I'm ready.
Yep.
And like just that moment, like, because as kids, like we all do the haka,
Yep.
it's just such a cool thing. And like in that moment, standing there, you're like, shit, this is real. Like, this is awesome. In front of it, facing the haka, one of the biggest traditions in world rugby. And even just the other day, like when I was playing for the Barbars against the All Blacks 15, and they did their haka, you sort of just appreciate that small thing, that's such a big tradition for them, and for the rugby world. So it was a cool moment. And like at the same time, just don't know how to feel, because you're like, I want to engage and want to show that I'm ready to take on the challenge, but at the same time, you're like, I don't really want to look at them, because they're quite scary.
Yeah. And it's
yeah.
I think always when I watch and a team kind of stands there for too long and they try and take on the haka, I'm like, this never ends well. The All Blacks are going to put 50 points on you now. Like,
It's almost like
just stand there.
Yeah. And stand there and go like,
yeah,
cool, thank you. That was awesome. I appreciate that. But it's almost like once you stand there and like stand together to show like unity and show like you're ready to take on the challenge, and you like stare them down, it's almost like they get into their heads, okay, you want to go, like we'll show you what we're really about. And then doesn't really end well.
I want to jump forward to you obviously made the decision then to go to France, La Rochelle, beautiful part of France, and then ended up winning the Champions Cup, so like the Champions League equivalent of
rugby, basically.
Rugby. Yeah. How was that? You were lucky enough to win. Well, not lucky enough. You obviously fucking played well to win man of the match as well. Was that probably one of the biggest highlights of your rugby career so far?
Without a doubt, yeah. Very surprised. Like the lady came up to me and she's like, we need you for interviews. And I was like, man, just let me enjoy the moment. I've just won the Champions Cup. And she was like, you actually got to do the man of the match interview. You got man of the match. And I was like, what? Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, like we were obviously in the final the year before against Toulouse and lost, and you have that feeling of like, shit, I really want to get back here and be on the other side of this result. And it's, in rugby, that's never a given, you know. So really lucky that we got a second bite at it, and to come out and win it is absolutely awesome. Like, meant so much for me personally, just to go through that with a new club. And obviously La Rochelle had never won it before, so to be part of history with your new club is awesome. You know, we had a great team, but even going into the final, I think everyone just was on the Leinster bandwagon. You know, they were a really quality side. Obviously, internationals all across the park, and I don't really think anyone gave us a shot, but we were so psyched up for that game. Like, we were ready. We weren't gonna walk off that field for a second time in a row as losers. You know, we really wanted to lift the cup, and we were so determined. Like, our prep during the week wasn't as much game plan and strategy. It was more just the mental side of
Yeah.
of listen, this is another opportunity, another crack at it, and we don't want to. We know what that feeling was like last season, and we don't want to be on the same side of the result again. You know, we want to win it. And then after the game, just the next couple of days was it was wild. It was wild.
The tour bus through the town and all that. Yeah.
Tour bus through the town was crazy. Just literally like non-stop. I think the alcohol intake was at an all-time high over the next couple of days after that.
Respectfully, though, eh? Respectfully.
Respectfully. And it was funny because we'd won the Champions Cup, but we weren't qualified for top 14 playoffs at the time.
Oh, right.
And we still had a game against Lyon away the next weekend. And like
Academy guys.
Yeah. Our final was on the Saturday. We won that. Literally Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday partying. We were at a beach club on the island just close to La Rochelle. And guys were literally ducking and diving, like, because Ronan was walking around trying to pick a side to play. And guys were just like, nah, Rog, I'm not keen. I'm ducking and diving behind the bushes. Like, just don't come to me. Don't tell me I've got to stop and I've got to prepare for Lyon. But we managed to get a result at Lyon, which put us in the quarterfinals. Lost against Toulouse pretty closely that weekend. But yeah, that Champions Cup was massive, man. It's crazy to think that, like, where La Rochelle was a couple of years ago, only just winning the second division, being in then top 14, and then to being European champions is crazy. So to be a part of that as a player is something really special, to be the first team to win a trophy like that for your club.
Absolutely. Well, we're running out of time again, so I'm gonna just last quick fire question. So as quick as you can answer these ones. Best player you've played with or against?
With Sam Lane.
Let's go. Fucking oath. Yep.
Yeah.
Schoolboy, different
unreal.
level. Yeah.
Unreal. Against, well, probably Bowden Barrett.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good fair. Best rugby achievement?
Champions Cup.
Yep.
Champions Cup winner.
One-on-one, who would you not want to face?
Cheesy.
Top 2 artists on your playlist?
ASAP Rocky.
Let's go.
And Snow Allegra.
Okay, different.
Yeah.
Death row meal?
Nando's.
And do they have one in front?
Nando's. They don't. So whenever we play Champions Cup in the UK, the boys are pretty quick to find out whether there's a Nando's nearby. Yeah.
Let's go. Best holiday destination?
Greece.
Ooh, nice. Yep.
Yeah.
First item of clothing that's going in your bag for holidays. I think I can answer
Ooh,
this. I think I can.
Budgies.
Oh, okay. Yep. I was gonna say your fucking Converse. That'd be
Not too far off.
yeah,
Yeah.
close.
Can't go wrong with a pair of black Converse.
Yeah.
Can't.
How much do you miss a sunny day drink at Cafe Caprice?
Oh wow. Oh wow. That's not quick fire. There's so much detail that goes into that.
I had
But
to
I'm
end.
big time.
I felt like I could end it off on that one.
A Sunday sesh at Caprice
Yeah.
is all time there.
Top,
All
top,
time.
top. Well, Dillyn, I really appreciate your time, man. I know you're a busy man, but thanks for
Thanks, bro.
hopping
It
on.
was good to catch up. Good to catch up.
I really enjoy the way you play God's game. So thanks, man. All the best for the rest of your career, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much for having me on, Dane. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.